Hey everyone, it's Justin here to give you guys another update about movies, comics, and other sorts of media. And with all that said, let's get right into the news today. First off, the third Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok, finally has a director. And the director is, I'm probably going to be pronouncing his name wrong, Taika Waititi. I think that's how you pronounce it, but the guy is also an actor, and for those of you who do not know who he is, I looked him up on IMDb, and the only thing that I remember him being in was in the 2011 Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie where he played his best friend, but it turns out he's also a director, and the only thing that I'm familiar with him doing is this film called What We Do in the Shadows. And I guess people seem to like it. It has a certain audience to it. So with that said, Marvel's pretty solid on who they choose for their directors. Now, this is, since it's also the third Thor movie, it will also be I've just been noticing it's always been a different director. First we've had Kenneth Branagh, then Alan Taylor, and then now this guy here, which I know they're not now doing it like a certain thing like how Iron Man was mainly focused on Jon Favreau and then just switched to Shane Black, or how Captain America is now mainly focused with the Russo brothers, or how Guardians is just focused with James Gunn. With this, it's just, let's see what anybody else has to offer. So, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, with this guy, with this project only under his belt, What We Do in the Shadows, and for Marvel to trust them enough, I have total faith in them. The next bit of news, again, that involves directors, is The Flash. Now, for those who are not keeping up, Warner Brothers and DC have announced back in November in 2014 that they announced a whole slew of their movies, and one of those movies is going to be The Flash, which will be coming out on March 3rd of 2018, starring Ezra Miller. And the director who they got for the movie is named Seth Graham Smith, and it turns out that this is actually going to be his directorial debut on the big screen. I believe he's only directed an episode of two different shows, but he is also an author. He wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, either the film or the movie. He also he did the screenplay for Dark Shadows, starring Johnny Depp and directed by Tim Burton, and he wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And going through this, I'm not sure if they're going to go with this kind of dark tone for The Flash. However, Warner Brothers did say that they did choose him because he is a diehard fan of comics and that he understands the source material, and if that's the case, then, all the power to them. I don't know much of what's going on. I just know The Flash is going to be coming on pretty soon, and as soon as that season is done, I will be reviewing that as well. I'm not going to review each episode that goes along. That's a question I should ask. Should I review the first half and review it before its hiatus, or just wait till the show is completely done? I think I'm going to wait till it's completely done, just so that nobody's confused. But yeah, this guy, I wish him all the luck in the world to make the best Flash movie as they could. Another thing that someone pointed out to me, and I would definitely agree with them, is that since on the Flash TV show, they did announce that their world is actually an alternate world, and they're gonna be calling it Earth 2, or they're calling the world with Jay Garrick Earth 2. So I had the thought that this could possibly be the bridge from the DC Extended Universe in the movies to the DC TV universe, and that way they can cross paths, and that way you wouldn't have to recast Green Arrow. Just keep Stephen Amell, because he's perfect. Okay, maybe perfect is too strong of a word, but I don't know. It's really hard for me to come up with another actor to play that character, but I've actually had a few ideas in my head, but I'm completely satisfied with Stephen Amell. But the point is that this could actually work, because Warner Brothers is essentially sitting on a gold mine, and that they could essentially do anything with that. And they have taken advantage of that when the Dark Knight trilogy was coming out, and that and Green Lantern wasn't connected, which, thank God for that shit. But it just seemed like all these movies, like Green Lantern, Dark Knight trilogy, Man of Steel, it's like, wait, these movies are not connected? Dude, you have all the rights to your characters. Marvel Studios doesn't even own Fantastic Four or X-Men, and they are completely successful. You guys are sitting on a gold mine. So that could be, it probably won't happen, but if it does happen, then that is a dream come true right there. So anyway, I've said it a second time, I'll say it a third time. I wish the best of luck to this guy on directing the best Flash movie that he can. Next up is news about Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, and this involves Lex Luthor. It's advertisement for Forbes magazine, and they did like a fake article on Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, on how he rose to power and how what his relationship was like with his father. And I'm okay with this kind of thing, but when a real life media tries to make a fictional, like, whether if it's a comic book or any type of thing, and they try to make it seem real, it just comes off incredibly cheesy, but they seem to make it work in this one. And in one article, they showed Lex Luthor's Twitter account, and at first I was like, oh, is this thing real? And then they just took it off. I was like, oh, for God's sake. But that would have been interesting to see, just following Lex Luthor on Twitter just right before the movie comes out. So with the viral marketing for this, it's definitely taking notes from Marvel after what Civil War is doing when they brought Christine Everhart or Scott Lang into that. They were probably looking at that and thinking, we could probably do that. So it's interesting on what they did. So obviously, I'm looking forward to this movie, so look forward to more of this. Next up is news about Suicide Squad, and this came from an interview on Will Smith. And he was on a radio talk show that he was promoting his new album, and he released 2 songs, and this was going to be his comeback for music, and he talked a little about Suicide Squad and his relationship with Jared Leto, and this is what he actually had to say about this, and I quote, "I've actually never met Jared Leto. We worked together for 6 months, and we've never exchanged a word outside of action and cut. We've never said hello. We've never said good day. I've only ever spoken to him as Deadshot and him as the Joker. I literally have never met him yet. So the first time I see him, I will be, "Hey, Jared, what's up?" Not a single word exchanged off camera. He was all on the Joker. I'm looking forward to meeting him. So this pretty much goes to show that Jared Leto has pretty much lost himself and has committed himself fully 1,000,000% on playing this character. And in my opinion, so far, Heath Ledger is still my favorite live-action Joker. Mark Hamill still remains my favorite animated Joker. Troy Baker comes at a second one. But seeing the way how Jared Leto does this, I am extremely excited to see what he brings to the table. I've seen the trailer for it, and every time I watch the trailer to Suicide Squad, it still gives me goosebumps. I still watch it. And then the scene where Jared Leto's Joker comes by, I always make that Andy Dwyer excited face that everybody sees as a meme online. And it just gets me excited. When I first saw what the image of Jared Leto's Joker looked like, I was a bit concerned with all the tattoos and stuff. I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. But then he worked in motion. I saw what he was going to... I heard what he was going to sound like. I was very interested. It just made me even more excited than I was previously. So, I just lost my train of thought. So yeah, with him not communicating with anybody and just keeping himself devoted to that role, kudos to him. And, I'm still excited to see Will Smith in that. I mean, it's Will Smith. He's the most charming man on the face of the planet. And Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn, another one, she was actually my number one choice to play that character, because after I saw her in Wolf of Wall Street, I thought to myself, I bet she would make a really good Harley Quinn. A few months later, I hear about it, and I was like, well, someone at Warner Brothers was listening to me. So, still look forward to Suicide Squad, because I absolutely am. Next up, we got some news about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and that it's still casting. This movie already has a huge cast so far, and another cast member they brought in was Jon Voight. Who is Jon Voight going to play? I'm not exactly sure. I haven't read the article all the way through, but you could find more of that in the description below. Next up is news about Gotham, TV news. I've already seen the first 2 episodes of Season 2. It's getting pretty good so far. Yet to see the 3rd episode. I meant to watch it, but for some reason, something else was DVRing and I couldn't go to the other channel, so, shit happens. But one of the things that the show producer did say was that they were going to establish the Joker's origin in this show and understand, where he comes from, and they were also going to be introducing Mr. Freeze. I don't know if he's going to be called Mr. Freeze on the show, or if he's just going to be referred to as Dr. Victor Freeze. I don't think they should already go with him as Mr. Freeze. I feel like that's something as soon as when Bruce grows up and becomes Batman, then make that happen. Like what they're doing with Harvey Dent. They haven't made him Two-Face, and I'm glad that's happening. He's still a senator. He's not a DA yet. Just wait till that happens. Keep him as a good guy. And another character that they're thinking about bringing in is Hugo Strange. Now, he is definitely a character that I would love to see on Gotham, because how do I put it? he's just one of those characters that hypnotizes me, where I want to know more about him and what's going on in his head. And I feel like if you put Hugo Strange in this world, in the world where Gotham is for this show, I feel like you bring in more audience members to watch the show, and yeah, I'm still optimistic about this Joker thing. I'll see where it goes from there. But I'm still watching Gotham right now, and as soon as Season 2 is over, I'll let you guys know if it's worth your time watching. And the last bit of news is a bit of comic book news, and that is something on Marvel. Now, recently, a couple years ago, there was a comic book called Civil War, which was, in my opinion, one of my favorite Marvel books, not just because of the story, but it is, in my opinion, the greatest artwork in a Marvel comic that I have ever seen in my entire life. And we know that Civil War, Captain America Civil War, is coming out on May 6, 2016. And now we got confirmation that in 2016, we are going to get Civil War 2. There was a photo of Iron Man fighting Captain America Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. It was a leaked photo, and they haven't released any details of what's going to be going on, but I'm still curious to see what is going to be happening. Now, so far, I am a huge fan of Sam Wilson, Captain America, or which I like to call him Captain Falcon. And the new Iron Man costume, I kind of like it, but to me, he kind of looks like an iron owl. But, you know, that's just me, that's my opinion there, but maybe you guys like it, maybe you don't, I don't know. Yeah, list down what you think of all this. Well, that's all the news for today. Is there a question that I wanted to ask? Oh yes, the question of the day is, now that The Flash has a director, are you satisfied with who they chose as a director? And if not, who would you have liked to see direct the Flash movie? I know that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were going to be doing the screenplay of the movie, but I guess that was just a rumor. But I could probably see them helming it. They could definitely make that as goofy as hell, but still taking it serious as much as you can take Flash seriously. And I'm just curious to hear what you guys want to see in this Flash movie. If, like I said, are you satisfied? If not, who do you want to direct it? I'm not sure who else I would want to direct it. I'm glad that they got someone who's kind of new, and that he'll be a household name very soon if the film is successful. Is there anything else I wanted to say? I feel like there is, but no, not anymore. Well, this is Just Dan, and this is me saying, "See ya!"